In this video, I would bully the poor AI with the current meta. Just how good could I do? Watch the video to see. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today, we're going to be absolutely wreaking havoc on the poor single-player AI, and we're going to be doing that as the United States of America today. Let's leave Iron Man and historical AI on, and just hop right on into the USA. Everyone, welcome to the United States of America. We start off with 36 divisions, which are not the best equipped, to be honest. Of course, we have our massive industry, our big manpower pool, and a ton of stability, but we are certainly lacking in the war support department. But don't worry, the people will love war by the end of this video, because we're going to be masters of it. Now, to preface this whole video, I'm going to be following some meta guides made by Segl. The links to those videos and his channel will be in the description. I highly recommend you give them a watch, and if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please don't ask me. It would be like the blind leading the blind if I were to try to explain what was going on. If you go to his videos, you'll probably learn a heck of a lot more than watching mine. And as for focuses, we'll start off right away with continuing the New Deal. And I'm going absolutely so meta in this game. I'm building a land warfare facility here in Nevada because of the Hoover Dam. Now, I'm really even building it directly here onto Las Vegas. And of course, we'll infrastructure max over the entire United States because of our undisturbed isolation, which really hurts our construction of everything else. And yeah, 50% consumer goods factor. That is not fun. But hopefully with this meta path, we should be off of this pretty soon. Yeah, we'll see how much of this infrastructure we can actually get done before we get off undisturbed isolation and start building mills. I've of course prioritized areas with a ton of resources, and I'm going to start to rush the improved medium airframe as well, and I'm sure you'll see why very shortly. And just like normal, let's get our entire Navy death stacked here into San Diego, and we'll start training our fleet up and getting a ton of naval XP. Alright, there we go. That's the New Deal done, and there's some nice political power for us. Let's do the WPA for more political power, another 150, which is pretty massive. We're only getting 0.11 per day. 5th of May, and our land warfare facility is already done. John Walter Christie, you're in charge, sir. I really need this Senate support. I'm going to be actually lobbying and paying attention to the Congress, because some focuses are locked behind support for Congress or the House. Currently, 49 senators are in support, and for example, the Agricultural Adjustment Act requires at least 49, so let's do that now, and we start to work on the Great Depression right away. So far, so good. There's Agricultural Adjustment Act. Now we're going to head over here to the War Department for some maximum command power increase. We really need the Senate and House support, so we got to invest in the economy of Nebraska of all places, so let's build a civ here in Nebraska. There's War Department, so now let's do the Neutrality Act. And here is our election of 1936, and the best course of action for us in the meta, I believe, is for the Democrats. Let's get that 10% stability and 20% for infrastructure construction speed. There's the Neutrality Act, and here is a cheat code in the United States. If we do Selective Trading Act, I believe before we get to a certain percent of war support, our base war support is set up to 10%. It's 0% up here, so that's an extra 10 war support for us. On top of that, we get limited conscription. Boom. That 10% war support is going to go a long way for us. All right, and oh, there goes Douglas MacArthur. Good luck. And there is the Selective Trading Act done. We're up to 17% war support. All right, now let's do the Fair Labor Standards Act. Now that our legislation is done, it took a second. I missed a few days. I'm not as meta as I could have been. And then after that, we'll head right on over to the Arsenal Democracy for 6 mills and 6 naval dockyards. That's going to be very nice. Now, there's the war in China. What I'm going to do is improve my relations with China, and then we'll send an attaché over. Another 10% war support should get us to over 30%, which in mid-37 is really good for the US, I'm pretty sure. If we have more than 30% war support, we should be able to do the giant wakes. Let's see, they will take this attaché. There's a 30% war support for us, and we can now do the giant wakes in July of 1937, getting us off of undisturbed isolation and onto civilian economy. Boom. There we go. There's our first breakthrough in the land department. Let's start working on the military engineering vehicle. You know what, guys? I think my alarm clock went off because there we go. The giant wakes. We are now awake as the United States. Let's move right off civilian economy and go to partial MOBA right away. Look at our industry already. Let's start building mills in our entire country now. And let's get rid of the last of the Great Depression with the Federal Housing Act, removing our slow economic growth, the last of our bad malices here in the United States, already dealt with at the start of 1938, and look at our industry. We're just pumping out mills. Now remember at the start of the game when I rushed the improved medium airframe, Well, that's relevant now because we're going to do the focus escort fighters for a 300% research bonus for heavy fighter models, which is, of course, the medium airframe. But that means we can get this 1944 advanced medium airframe very, very quickly. And I heard this is a pretty common meta US strat in multiplayer, so I'm glad I'm taking advantage of it today in single player. It has pained me to be sitting on 4 research slots now, but with Scientist Haven, we're finally going to get our 5th one because we have so many things we still need to develop as the United States. We still need to research a lot more for air, a lot more for armor, and definitely more for Navy. We haven't even touched our naval research yet. And there's our basic heavy tank research, which, as far as I'm concerned, people only go to the basic medium tank, and I think they convert. But we do need some basic armor protection for these bad boys. There we go. John Walter Christie has now moved on to the flamethrower tank. And there's our 5th research slot, so why not get a 6th with Scientific Research and Development Office right here. There's our improved medium airframe research done. Now this advanced medium airframe, it's going to take us 500 days. Well, just under 500 days, 497 to be precise, with that 300% research bonus. Remember, this is a 1944 tech plane, so we should have this by the start of 1940. There is our juicy 6th research slot. And there, with that construction done, we're up to 100 mils in January 39. Oh, the senator from Florida. Yeah, Florida, definitely very underdeveloped. We'll help you out for sure. And the Great American Infrastructure Project is back on because I really have nothing of worth to produce right now, militarily, other than just this basic equipment. The game is literally unplayable. Look at this bug I just found. My operative has been forced into hitting. Paradox, please fix. Alright, let's get our heavy tank finally in design now. And this will be our tank today. It's going to be classified as a tank destroyer, and it will be called the Levy FR after a channel member. And this pains me to make tanks like this because look at how slow it is and look at the reliability. It is just terrible. But apparently this is really good in the meta, so that's what we're going to be doing. Unfortunately, I don't have my good tank MIO ready yet. Well, there goes World War II. The Germans have declared on Poland and they're into the Allies. Our entry into the war will be soon, but we still do have a little bit of time to build up, thankfully, because our meta build is not ready yet. Now, I think I'm at the point where my focus is it doesn't really matter what I do next. I did the path the suggested way in Segl's video, but now I think I'm up to do whatever I want, and I want my good MIO for my tank destroyers, so I'm going to support the Rock, do some experimenting with the tanks, and then we'll do our tank destroyer doctrine. The once great US economy, while still great in numbers, is certainly using a lot of its industry for trade now. We only have 34 buildable civs left over. We're trading a ton of things away because I've got some special super heavy battleship. Actually, I gotta give this super heavy battleship a name, and we'll call our super heavy battleship the Mark Game CZ class after a channel member. And we'll have 4 of these guys out in September of 42. Is that worthwhile? I don't know. I've heard super heavy battleships are pretty good meta-wise for the US, and now that we have our cast research, let's get them in production. We'll call them the Daphlisk 8 after another channel member. And yeah, our mills are very quickly being spread quite thin between all of this different stuff we have to produce now. I'm even going to give our meta infantry a name. They'll be called the Simplified Divisions, and apparently this is meta. And also getting rid of the equipment, support equipment, and trucks, I believe. We've produced so much stuff that it really doesn't matter to me. I think we can easily equip our guys with that equipment, so we'll just do that now. And now all of our infantry is that meta division, and we're training up a heck of a lot more divisions. The US economy is saved. All I did was add tariffs, lower my export law, and suddenly I have all of my civilian economies building stuff again. Our 1944 medium airframe is finally ready. I didn't really find a meta heavy fighter design, but I'm gonna cook something up here. Again, I'm not sure if these are any good, but I'm just going to max out the attack with these heavy machine guns. I got some defense turrets, some self-sealing, and some extra fuel tanks. Look at the range of these bad boys. We'll be able to get to Japan easily with these things. We'll call them the Frat 08 after a channel member, of course. I don't think this game is very realistic, guys. The Senate has full support. House MD, though, he's not as happy with us as the Senate, but, that's alright. And these will be our support flame tanks, the Daniel Merceau after a channel member, of course. I just pretty much stacked a ton of fuel drums on there. I don't have dozer blades researched, or else I would have one of those in there as well, but I believe for flame tanks you just want to have some fuel drums and you really want to just design them as cheap as possible. Interesting. Incoming raids detected. Raid plans have been intercepted. The Pearl Harbor strike on Honolulu. And this will be our destroyers for the game, called the Mortimer class after a channel member. Alright, it is the 8th of November 1940. authority, and we have an election on our hands. Roosevelt versus Wilkie. FDR is indispensable for us. Now, this may look odd, and it certainly looks odd to me, but this is going to be our Marine divisions. They'll be called the Wojtek Novacek, and they actually have more Mountaineers than they do Marines, but apparently this is what's good, so I'm not going to argue with it. I'm going to make them. They're going to be very good for us. We have 21 of these bad boys in training, and we're just getting some light recon tanks out now that I realized I need to produce, and they're just little crappies. Meanwhile, I am building up our Pacific bases. We will be ready for any Japanese attack they throw at us. We have a few armies now stationed here in the Pacific. Well, there go the Germans in on the Soviets now, so again, things are going down. We'll be at war within the next few months. I am excited and looking forward to seeing what our troops are going to be able to do. I am shaking with excitement, not fear. The Japanese are finally justifying on me. I am so ready for this. I've got a ton of planes stationed here in the Philippines, got some even in Hawaii to hopefully repel this raid on Pearl Harbor, and my Navy is so ready. We've been spamming out our destroyers. Also, I have 21 Marine divisions out now here in Boston. They're training up. We'll move them into the Philippines. Well, there goes Japan in on the Dutch East Indies, which means their war goal is probably ready on the Philippines. Yes, it is. Well, here we go. The Japanese have declared war on us, and there's been an attack on Pearl Harbor, and we did, I think, lose that attack on Pearl Harbor. I forgot to get my guys up on anti-air. Oh well. Our heavy fighters are now up and active. Look at the range on them. It's just ridiculous. Let's get them over both the Yangtze River region and eastern China. We're already taking out, oh my god, look at the exchange rates. We haven't lost a single one. We're taking up upwards of 20 to 30. That is ridiculous. And the UK is welcoming us into the Allies. Let's join them. Looks like the Japanese, their pride of the fleet is here in this Mariana region, so let's get our guys. Oh, actually, our ships got absolutely destroyed by the Pearl Harbor attacks. Oh my goodness. That was a serious skill issue on my part then. Yeah, let's get these boys repaired right away. This is going to take a while though. That is very annoying actually. And yes, to state the obvious, that is not the meta. The meta is not to have all of your ships be at 50% strength. Oh my gosh, we can't even go onto war economy. That's how overpowered we are right now. I mean, maybe if we join the call to arms against the Germans, we can do so. Let's see. Yes, okay, there we go. But Japan's economy is that weak compared to ours. Our heavy fighters are fighting all the way down here in Crete into Ukraine, and we are destroying the Axis Air Force, and hopefully we're going to give the Soviets a chance. But looking at this front and this potential pocket here, that doesn't look too hot. I'm going to improve relations with them, and we'll get an attaché just so we can see what's going on and grab a little bit of XP as well. The first American offensive into the war here is taking place in Malaya. The Japanese and friends have pushed us all the way to Singapore, but luckily our troops got in just in time, and here we are making our counteroffensive now. Finally, there's an encirclement, and hopefully we can get the rest of these guys here. And there we go, we do. Finally, I can design my tank divisions. They'll be called the CK3_Enjoyer divisions themselves, and we're going to get some supports and some towed AA here. 2 things of towed AA, and the supports will be on screen right now. You'll see them, and yeah, we can pump out a good chunk of these. Again, we've been producing these heavy tank destroyers pretty much the whole game. We've marched on into Bangkok, and Siam has capitulated, actually. Look at how many Japanese troops are now cut off from their country. That is big. Finally, our super heavy battleships are done. We made 4 of them. Well, it looks like the Soviets are definitely not doing too hot. They've now lost Moscow. Let's get an attaché, see what's going on. Honestly, pretty bad for the Soviets. Like, boys, come on, move your troops out. You are not doing anything with them here. Get them into Moscow, for gosh sakes. And as Vichy France is called into the war, we have finally mopped out Southeast Asia, and another nice thing is that our Navy is finally done repairing, and we'll send them back over to the Pacific, and we'll get them to patrol the Mariana region, and then we'll start to pick off all of their islands with several key naval invasions. And we'll finally get to test out our nice Marine divisions here. I'm excited about that. Alright, let's launch our naval invasion. Yeah, supply, it definitely hurts, but there, 343 soft attack, that's okay, but I'm hoping for more. Yeah, definitely not as much as I was hoping for, but definitely enough to just destroy the Japanese here. Here comes the first Japanese naval invasion of the Philippines, and it doesn't look like it's gonna go too well for them. I mean, that strength bar is likely, what, 1-2%? I mean, you can barely see it, and yeah, they're going right for the capital, and unfortunately, we have 72 divisions on the Philippines right here, plus actually another 24 guarding the ports. So yeah, they're really not going to land. And we are mopping up the rest of North Africa from the Vichy French. The Allies even trying a naval invasion here in Italy, but I'm going to get my own going. The Soviets are making a bit of a pushback. They've retaken Moscow, and this front is looking super strange right now. Finland controls Leningrad. Come on, guys, really? Let's do some more naval invasions here of some Pacific islands, and hopefully fight some more Japanese divisions, and see some big numbers go up, hopefully. Here's a battle here, and there's some nice soft attack. Again, not as much as I was hoping for, but I just saw it go up to 500 for a brief moment there. They're not even on their islands. Yeah, we'll just slowly but surely chip away and take all of these islands now that we have 6 naval invasion plans at 12 per invasion. We can really start to do some massive naval invasions once we get more Marines out. And here is a big naval battle here, the Battle of Iwo Jima. The Japanese Pride of the Fleet is here. Let's see what happens. Yep, a massive victory for the United States Navy. All of those ships wiped out. We didn't lose a single one, and we've caught them again. Let's sink the remainder of these carriers and these heavy ships here. Yep, they are all gone. Goodbye, Japan. We've got our last few naval invasions planned here. Then we'll head to Okinawa and finally the home islands. And that should do it for Japan. I don't anticipate them having too much of resistance on the home islands, especially with our elite marine divisions and all of our forces over here. Here is our big invasion onto Italy now. We're invading the island of Sicily, and it looks like it is pretty lightly defended, and we should be able to grab it. And there we go. We might be able to get across there, but I think I'll just naval invade Naples or something and cut this all off in half. Our final invasion for Japan is being prepared as well. We're going to invade Okinawa, and at the same time, we'll probably get an invasion here onto the home islands, and then we'll flood all of these troops stationed in the Philippines right into the heart of Japan. Yeah, our heavy fighters can actually reach Japan from Iwo Jima, so let's send off our naval invasions now. And there we go, we've made it into Tokyo, a textbook operation indeed. We're also here invading onto Okinawa. We didn't take the tile with the port, uh-oh. Our boys are finally here into Japan. Good timing, because we found this. And there we go, Japan has capitulated. We own 71% of that war score. Let's take us some islands and make sure the Japanese never can do something like this again. They really didn't have a lot of their navy left either, so I'm happy about that. And there we go, one enemy down, one more to go. The Allies have made some landings here in Italy, so let's go ahead and join them now. We'll get our own invasions going. I'm going to send my entire Pacific Army here into the UK, and we'll get a nice D-Day landing up here into Normandy. Thought the Soviets were pulling it back, but then they just went ahead and collapsed again, and I'm assuming it's probably because they're at war with the Chinese United Front now, so they had to move a lot of troops over here. But yes, the Germans are making very good progress. Look at that big pocket they have there. They're back into Moscow and surging forwards. We'll see how far the Germans actually get before either we or the Soviets put a stop to them. There's the fall of Rome by American divisions, and our naval invasion has gone very well, obviously. Well, there goes Italy. Our naval invasion's almost ready to be prepared onto the main German front. Let's push out all of these German divisions here trapped. I think I've named something after every single one of my channel members, except for one. So let's name the entire fleet the Loopy WT Fleet. There you go. You get the entire fleet named after you. Alright, it is time for our D-Day landings here. Let's get the entire Air Force we have stationed over Western France, and we'll get the Loopy WT Fleet on naval invasion support. That should give us some shore bombardment, and there's no way we don't land here. Yes, and we have landed everywhere, and we are spreading out. We can finally get our tank divisions into action here. I mean, just look at the stats on them. 619 soft attack, 907 hard attack. Alright, let's hit a tank or two onto these guys, and let's see what happens. Oh, look at that breakthrough. That is insane. 1,000 breakthrough, and look at our stats are modified to 60%. Oh my gosh, I saw that go up to over 1,000 heart attack there. Heart attack not that useful in single player, as you may know, but still, it's crazy to see that number go up. I can understand how this is the meta. Let's hit our magic buttons everywhere. Oh my gosh, look at that. 1,300 heart attack. Oh, and there's the liberation of Paris. 1,200 soft attack on our marine divisions here, just fighting in common forest. There goes Vichy France. We've met up with our holdings in Italy here, and we are starting to push into German core territory now. Anybody who knows the meta or is into multiplayer or anything like that, tell me, how did I do? Let me know, how do you guys play the game? Do you play it similar to me, very different from me? Do you watch this guy be like, wow, what an idiot? Or do you be like, wow, this guy's a genius? I mean, I'm very curious to know. Well, I guess the thing about these meta tanks is that they really crumble under anything. I mean, we're 3.4 thousand in deficit. Are you serious? But we're just about to head into Berlin now. And there's Berlin. Yep, my game froze, and that is the end of the Germans and the Axis. We ended up with 28% of the war score somehow, which is crazy considering we just fought in that last little part. There we go. Peace deal is done. Yep, we took that. Now, looking at the world, we could go after the Comintern. You know what? We might as well, right? Soviets have not generated any world tension, so guess we'll have to leave it off here. It was pretty eye-opening seeing a whole nother side to this game, the meta division, the meta plane, the meta ship, the meta tanks. But yes, that is going to do it for this one. If you've watched this far, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. It would mean so very much to me. And thank you to all my channel members who were featured very heavily in this video, and they're up on screen right now. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.